I'm Katie Wells, host of the Maximized Minimalist podcast. I escaped the hamster wheel of modern-day motherhood, overwhelmed by clutter and buried under the mental load. Now I live in a home that feels calm, manageable, and made for real life. I have margin in my days, energy for who matters most, and time for slow mornings and silly dance parties in the kitchen with my family. With over 5 million listens, the show has helped women around the world turn their homes into their happy place. Around here, we simplify for more peace, more presence, and more joy. We choose grace over guilt and progress over perfection. And we believe your home should give back more than it takes. I'm here to help you do the same. Come along with me and my guests as we share the real stories, habits, and strategies that help you lighten the load from the inside out. Pull up a seat, friend, and let's do this together. Ready, set, simplify. A few weeks ago, I opened up Instagram, and within seconds, I felt ashamed of my body. I hadn't felt that way when I woke up. I wasn't thinking about my body at all. But one image I saw changed that in like a microsecond. And it made me realize something about the invisible weight we carry around. And I'm not just talking about the stuff in your closet. Here's what happened. It was a normal morning. I grabbed my phone, as we all do, opened up Instagram, and immediately saw a before and after post from a woman in the fitness space. And she was celebrating her client's transformation. You might think no big deal, right? Yay. But the before photo of her client literally looks just like my body right now, today, or on that day. And still 2 weeks later, just like that, like my brain was completely hijacked. I went from feeling totally neutral about my body to thinking, oh my gosh, I guess I should feel ashamed of it. And I didn't choose it. I didn't invite this feeling, but all of a sudden there it was. And it was like all consuming for like hours. I was like, oh my gosh, do I need to do a fitness program? Do I need to go on a diet? Like I was absolutely kind of like spiraling. Because suddenly my body wasn't just my body anymore. It was someone else's before, like someone else's starting point, someone else's problem to fix. And I sat with that. And honestly, I kind of went through a lot of emotions. I was like, do I need to, fix my body? Maybe I'm oblivious and, like, I don't know. And then it made me angry, not at her, not really even at Instagram, although that's its own thing, but really how quickly these messages sneak in and start running the show. And they're not always so obvious. You might not react so egregiously when you see a post like that, like I did in this situation, but we're getting messaging through the content we're seeing, through culture, through whatever, TV shows. It doesn't have to be just social. And it got me thinking that we all have this often invisible weight we carry. And it's the stuff in our heads, the beliefs we've absorbed that shape how we see ourselves, how we measure progress, and whether we even try it all. So today, as we head into the new year, and honestly, I really hope you listen to this well into 2026 if you're scrolling through the episodes, because it's just so important. These 3 beliefs are likely slowing you down, if not keeping you stuck. And the tricky part is you might not even know you're holding on to them. So here's what today's really about. The biggest obstacle to your progress is not your schedule, your busy schedule. It's not that your kids are in all these extracurriculars. It's not your home. It's not your habits. It's not your motivation or willpower. It's the beliefs you've accepted as true. Beliefs about what your past means, beliefs about what counts as progress or success, and beliefs about who gets to decide if you're doing it right, quote unquote, right. These beliefs don't often announce themselves, right? They run in the background. They're like this, they become part of your programming. Just like apps draining your phone battery, you didn't even know were open. You didn't even know you had the apps. You're like, when did I download this? My kid must have did that. And if you don't intentionally close them out, delete them, you will keep spinning, wondering why you can't seem to get traction as you head into, decluttering your home for 2026, which I'm sure that's many of your goals, right? To make progress there. Wondering why it's so hard for you when it looks easy for everyone else. And hint, it's not easy for everyone else. Okay, so let's name them, let's look at them, and then let's let them go. First belief, you might that might be keeping you stuck is this, that your past attempts are evidence of what's possible for you. Here's what I mean. If you've tried to declutter before or are active trying, are decluttering right now, and you aren't where you hope to be, you thought you'd be further along. Maybe it didn't stick. Maybe the mess or clutter came back, right? Maybe you didn't finish what you hoped. You're like, I set out to declutter my guest room, got 2 boxes in, and I'm feeling like, dang it, there's more to go. Maybe you got overwhelmed. Maybe you straight up were like, I'm going to quit right now. I'm going to give myself permission to quit and come back to it, right? There's all these different ways it can go. When these things happen, there's often a story your brain probably wrote about that experience. Times that by dozens of attempts, hundreds of attempts over the years, and that story gets stronger. And it sounds like something like, see, you tried, it didn't work. This must not be for you. Guess you'll never be organized. You're just not organized enough. You need more time on your hands to make this work. You need to quit your job in order to make progress. Fill in the blank, right? Maybe you tried a system and it flopped. Maybe you bought the bins, watched the shows, watched the YouTubes, and your home still feels chaotic. And somewhere along the way, you stop seeing these as simply attempts and start seeing them as proof. This is a natural human behavior. Apply this to fitness. Apply this to any other goal in your life. Our brains are like, okay, Katie, you've tried 10 times. Like, this is proof you're not disciplined enough. Proof you're too far gone. Proof that change isn't available to you. And here's what I want you to hear. And this is for me too. These aren't failures. This is data. This tells you something. Maybe it tells you the system you tried or method or advice wasn't built for how your brain works. Maybe it was that you needed support, not just information. Oh my gosh. Implementation and information are 2 different things. And especially with AI right now, you can literally get even more information in a faster way to crack the code, to solve the problem. We are drowning in information. We were before AI, and now we are even more so. But we're still lacking in implementation, right? Maybe your capacity was maxed when you tried whatever advice it was. Maybe you were solving for the wrong problem entirely. None of that means in these situations that you are the problem. It means the approach was incomplete. It wasn't for you. And think about it this way. If you tried to bake a cake and it fell flat, AKA didn't rise, you wouldn't pull it out of the oven and be like, I guess I'm just not a person who can bake. You'd say oh, dang it. Was it the oven temp? You'd probably go back and look at the ingredient. Did I forget the baking soda or whatever the heck makes it rise? I don't know. Clearly, I'm not a baker, and that's fine. Did I overmix it? Did I skip a step? You wouldn't immediately bash yourself and be like, no, you'd troubleshoot, you'd adjust. Yes, it's frustrating, but you'd try again with better information and implementation. Why don't we do that with our goals? Because somewhere along the way, we made it personal. We made it about identity instead of strategy. So if you've got a running list in your head of all the times you've tried and failed to get your home under control, whatever, your fitness, all the things, applies to so many areas. I want to gently invite you to reframe that. You haven't failed. You've gathered information. You have data, and now you get to use it to your advantage or disadvantage. Okay. Second belief that keeps people stuck is this: that progress only counts if it's massive. We kind of talked about this last week or a few weeks ago, right? I see this one hold so many women hostage. Let me paint a picture. I had a client, I'll call her Anna, who came to me completely stuck. She had this entire basement full of stuff she hadn't touched in years. And when I asked her what had kept her from starting, she kept telling me, I just don't have time. I don't have a full weekend. I want to do the marathon purge. I just want it behind me. And the thought of doing 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there makes me want to not even start. She had convinced herself that unless she could carve out, which by the way, it wouldn't just take one weekend for Anna's particular basement. As most basements, it wouldn't. It would be multiple weekends, probably stacked. That's the reality, to overhaul the space. But because she didn't have that, right, there was no point in starting at all. So she didn't for months, for years. The clutter kept growing. She kept getting more overwhelmed. The problem kept getting bigger. Anna isn't lazy. Anna isn't unmotivated. Anna struggles with perfectionistic tendencies. Those tendencies specifically, and hear me because I too am a recovering perfectionist, have a sneaky way of disguising itself as high standards when really often it's just fear in failure. Because you never try, you can't fail. If you never start, you never have to face the mess, literally or emotionally. Waiting for the right time becomes a way to protect yourself from the discomfort of doing it imperfectly, aka small steps, 5 minutes here, 1 box a day. I get it. That used to make me cringe. It used to be like, but I want the whole pantry transformation. I want to declutter the whole junk drawer at once. We all want that. There's not one person who's listening right now that goes, well, yeah, I actually like doing small steps and little bits at a time. No one wants that. But here's the cost. You stay stuck and the clutter stays where it is. Your stress grows, the clutter grows. Oh man, it's a nasty, nasty rabbit hole. I don't want to go down that dirty, dungy, cluttery rabbit hole anymore. And had I not changed my mindset to small steps do count, no matter what culture tells me about progress, I wouldn't be here today. My house would be filled with clutter still. I'd still be ragey, stressed, frustrated, resentful towards my family, shameful about my house. And there would be no book. There would be no podcast. That is how crucial this is. What I told Anna is what I'll tell you. 5 minutes counts. 1 drawer counts. 1 box counts. 1 decision counts. Not because it's going to transform your home overnight, but because action creates momentum. And momentum is what gets you out of the spin cycle of I'll start Monday. I'll start when things calm down. And it reinforces that identity belief. I can do this. What do we call ourselves here? Simplifiers. The more you repeat an action that a simplifier would do, the more you believe you can do this, right? Identity-based behavior changes are one of the most powerful things. Small progress is not a consolation prize. It is the actual game. Third belief. Okay, we're wrapping it up here. This one's personal, even more so than the other. The belief that someone else gets to define what success looks like for you. Again, let's pull the Instagram story back. When I saw that before and after photo, my body became wrong. And that makes me want to cry. I hated that feeling in that moment. And maybe it's not your body. Maybe it's your home. Maybe you are following these accounts, which this, by the way, is a huge reason I don't sell the aspirational vision of perfection. That is not me. It's never been what I do. It's never been that unrealistic expectation that if you do XYZ 3-step program, your home will be clutter-free and look like this forever is complete baloney. You will never hit my Instagram account and be like, oh, great, another aspirational organizer declutter guru. No, it's not reality. And I never want you to feel wrong about your home or your progress or your version of a good enough home, right? And I felt my body became wrong in those microseconds, not because anything physically changed, obviously, but because I all of a sudden measured it against someone else's standard, someone else's starting point. I was like, great, someone else's transformation. And we do that all the time, I think. We scroll through Instagram. We see the perfectly organized pantry with probably thousands of dollars of bins. Not always, but at least hundreds of dollars, if we're going to be honest. And I personally will share this. If you listen, I think it was episode 337. It's the one where I invite my husband, Andrew, on, and it was such a great grounding. It makes me tear up. What's new? Such a good conversation about sentimental clutter, parenting, identity. It was just really raw. And I know so many of you loved that episode. And he said something that instantly hurt my ego. But then I was like, oh no, Katie, this is the way it's supposed to be. He said, if you walked into our house, you wouldn't know that this is what Katie does for a living. And I was like, well, of course you would. We have less stuff, than we used to. And absolutely, yes. We certainly do. Our home looks incredibly different, but it doesn't look like a perfect Pinterest photo. Open my pantry, y'all. I am not that person that has matching bins. I am not. I don't do labels. I see how they help people. It's just, I don't do them. I see the allure of matching bins. I just shop my house first. Like stuff is mismatched. It's ugly. I don't decant my spices. I don't rainbow organize my pantry snacks. When I get home from Costco or my local grocery store, I don't unpack all of the stuff into like these matching baggies. Like I don't do that because I want my home to be easy to manage. And the more steps it takes to set up a system and maintain a system, the more time it takes. Now, if that's something you do and love, great. This is great. But I don't do that. And that's fine for me, right? And this is your version of success, your version of progress. And at first, again, I was like, oh man, that really stinks. And then I was like, no, it's true. He talked about our messy garage. Like our garage is in a transition period right now. And I kind of feel like sometimes it always is, especially if you have kids who are growing quickly. Their interests are changing. They're into a really big new hobby now, which doesn't require a lot of stuff, but Andrew is purchasing stuff for to make it more of a like memorable experience because that's important to him right now. This is what we need to talk about. Yet we hop on Instagram or TikTok or wherever we're spending time, and we absorb these images and standards and, again, invisible expectations and don't even realize we've let someone else take the pen and rewrite our definition of success and progress. But here's the thing. That influencer with the perfect pantry, she doesn't live your life. She doesn't have your kids. She doesn't have your job, not your schedule, not your history, not your brain. What works for her or what she enjoys to do, or if she enjoys spending time maintaining that system, good, great. There's no wrong way to do it. But if that done looks like that for her, it doesn't have to look that way for you. And the same is true for me. That fitness clients before might be someone else's goal body. You know, my version of a healthy, strong body doesn't have to match hers. And yes, I've gained some weight. I didn't really plan on gaining this year. So again, it kind of triggered me even more because I know I'm not where I want to be. And it was just kind of like that reminder of like, ugh, you're not there yet. And it's tricky because often people post that as to be motivational and to be like, hey, look, this person followed my protocol and look. And I will say I am that person where very rarely am I motivated by before and afters. I think it can be, maybe it just depends on the moment. I don't know. Let me know what you think, but I'm often demotivated because I'm like, I don't know. It's tricky, right? I'm like, makes me kind of feel worse sometimes. Maybe it just depends on my mood. I don't know. But the whole point is your version of systems or whatever your freaking pantry looks like. It doesn't have to look like that. Keep the things in their freaking wrappers until the kids eat them. Like it's so much simpler if you want, right? And I don't want to push my version of what that looks like, but that's the reality. Like we have to like just think of what a functional home for me looks like. Someone else's, it'll look different. An organizing expert who touts perfection on her Instagram would be horrified looking at my pantry. She'd be like, oh, well, this is ugly or whatever. Like this could be more organized. Girl, it could always be more organized. Hello? Yeah, sure. But it's good enough, right? Good enough home. If you get my book, if you listen to more podcast episodes, I constantly talk about the philosophy of a good enough home and how incredibly valuable leaning into that philosophy, which I came up with for me years ago and have since continued to pursue, teach, and just remind women of your home doesn't need to look like a Pottery Barn ad to support and bless you and your family. And that's just the reality. I know it's easier said than done, but you know, again, preaching to myself here, the more we practice protecting our definition from outside noise and people, the more freedom we create to live in a way that fits us. So your past is not a verdict, it's data. Small progress is real progress. Protect your definition of progress and success and be ruthless about it. Unfollow accounts that make you feel behind. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. You set the bar. And before you set another goal, write down what success looks like for you. Not what it's supposed to look like, not what the internet says, but what makes you feel proud, peaceful, and free. Start there. And if that includes having a messy garage sometimes, that's me. Great, join me. If your house gets messy sometimes, like everyone's, like, great, join me. That's what I've got for you today, friend. I hope this episode found you right where you needed it. I truly do. Maybe you've been stuck. You didn't know why. Maybe you've just been carrying these beliefs around that were never yours to begin with. Wherever you are, you're not broken. You're not behind. And now you get to update that programming. Friend, I'm so glad you're here. I will talk to you in the new year. Ready, set, simplify, and I'll see you soon. Bye.